Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is another paid request for, yes, Snow White, the 2025 film. Before I start, if anyone wants to request any type of videos, would be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, random thought streams, reactions, random topic, whatever, feel free to send it. PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box that I would get to as soon as I possibly can. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And I know there's, quite a few people that brought this movie up from streams, from comments, folks like Vante, folks like 69 Spartan, etc. I want to thank people because I don't know why people watch these videos, because there's 1,000 better reviewers than me. There's, I'm sure, over 1,000 that have ranted and raged and crapped on and shit on this movie. I don't really know what else I could say that they haven't said. It has one of the lowest ratings for a popular film on IMDb, to the point that IMDb literally had to put some kind of text of, there's been some activity that's been happening and peculiar. And it's been a big box office bomb, which I'm not surprised by. I think anyone and everyone was saying it was going to be a bomb. And the whole backstory, I don't even know if I want to get into it. Rachel Zegler, to be honest, I had not seen her act in anything before this. She's only done a couple films. West Side Story, which I didn't give a crap to see because I don't care. I don't care about the original, let alone a remake of it. Whether Spielberg did it or not, I don't care. A Hunger Games prequel, I don't care. I don't give a shit about the Hunger Games. If I want that, I'll watch The Running Man with Arnold. Here's Sub-Zero now playing Zero. I need to see eat the card trap. There's a roof for my physical. Jump into stomach, but God, that's spine. I watched that instead. Did some film called Y2K. This is very topical. A film to make it, a few years ago. Something about Y2K. A very topical subject matter, right? So I'm like, who the hell is this lady? And spawn off all this stupid stuff about, oh, she likes the old film, but then, oh, well, this and that, and not a prince isn't going to save me. It's like, what? Why? Snow White is really the film that kind of made Disney. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs made Disney what it is today. It's, you could argue, the most important film in the Disney library. You could easily argue that. So to even hint at any disparaging remarks, or if they weren't disparaging, to word it in such a piss-poor fashion, it's just idiotic. It's imbecilic. It's stupid. It's a waste of time, waste of money, waste of a lot of stuff, man. And the whole thing where they had that photo with Rachel Zegler and those 7 folks that were short or tall or black or white, and then all this stuff, some say those were meant to be the dwarves, but then Peter Dinklage had a hissy fit about it, or whatever the hell else happened, or it was before that, or it was after. Either some say those were meant to be it, but then they changed the CGI, which they're both in it. Or some people say, no, that was a narrative that people put out there, but it's actually incorrect. That there's interviews with Mark Webb, the director and such, from like 2021 that says, well, we don't make the dwarf CGI. And that was always the get-go. That was always the go-to. But then there's, I don't care. You know what? Who gives a shit at the end of the day? Who gives a shit what it was, what it wasn't? Because what you have is the end product, and the end product sucks. So I don't care about the backstory. I'm not talking about the backstory anymore. I don't care what Rachel Zegler said. I don't care whether or Peter Dinklage being a dipshit. He's always been. I don't care about him. Never did. The movie itself, the product we have, sucks. Is it the worst thing ever? No. It wouldn't be in my top 100 worst films of all time because I've seen a Serbian film. I've seen Alien 3. That pisses me off. I've seen Star Wars The Last Jedi. Like, all these films piss me off more for various different reasons. This one, I just found it another typical, bland, boring, piss poor Disney remake. I put it in the same cubicle as the Beauty and the Beast remake and the Lion King remake and Mufasa, Waka Waka Waka, Mufasa the Lion dipshit, and those other Disney remakes. I put in the same thing. Pinocchio. That was an awful one. They're all in the same thing to me. Because they're bland, they're boring, they're forgettable, and you will not remember it by the end of the year. I guarantee you that while all this talk of Snow White, in a bad way, by the way, there's not a whole lot of positivity about this film, by the end of the year, no one will remember this film. For good reason. Again, if people are expecting this big rage, yelling, screaming thing, I hate to burst the bubble. That's not going to be the case. Because this is what I expected. Hell, I got more mad watching Transformers The Last Night, which that review should be up by now, because that should have been good, and that should have done this, and it should have done that. This is exactly what I thought. I went, I feel the same way about this as The Lion King. I feel the same way about this as Pinocchio. I do. I don't like the characters. I don't like the animation. I don't like the designs. It's fucking boring. Just like Pinocchio was boring, and just like Mufasa and the Lion King were boring. Just like Beauty and the Beast was boring. I'm talking about the remakes, not the original. Aladdin. Hell, Aladdin probably pissed me off more because I grew up more with Aladdin. So, honestly, I think Aladdin is worse than this. I really do. And don't get me wrong, this sucks, but I would say Aladdin I thought was worse. It felt longer, too. You know, people ask me what's the worst Disney remake. It's like hard to choose because I'm like, most of them suck, unless you're talking like Mighty Joe Young. That was a fun remake from the 90s with Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, Bill. But I've thought about it more, and I would have said Pinocchio, but I think honestly Aladdin I probably hated the most. Because Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney films. Animated-wise, I should say. Like 2D animation-wise. I like the original Snow White, but I've only seen that film 2 times. I saw it once when I was a kid, and I saw it once for a review. It was a request. I forget when it was. Months ago, maybe. Or a year ago. But I've only seen it twice. I liked it. I respected it. I don't own it. I don't know if I'd watch it again, unless it was a request, commentary, whatever. But, I liked it. I respect it. It was enjoyable. A lot more than this. But this was just so bland and boring. It really was. They make it more of a musical. The songs suck. I mean, the only time you perk up is when you hear an older song, and then you just go, just listen to the older stuff. Just rewatch the other movie. You can listen to Hi Ho. You can listen to Whistle While You Work. And it's funny how you could always, even if you've never seen the original, which I would guess I would bet there will be kids that if they understand the concept between original and remake, they could tell what was what, because the songs from the original have that certain kick to it the melody to it. And the new songs just don't have that. And I can't think of a Disney remake where they add a song and then you go, wow, that's actually a really good song. I'm talking about Disney remake. Like Beauty and the Beast, like a lot of them do add more songs, and they didn't. None of them songs they add are worth shit. I mean, the plot mostly follows the original, and I say mostly, like Newt from that movie. They come out at night mostly. There's a girl with a mom and a dad, king and queen. The mom dies. Then the dad says he's going to go somewhere. He never comes back. By this point, he's married Gal Gadot, who's the new queen. She's evil. No shit. A few things to point out. Number one, the look of the film is so fake looking. Even if it's on a set, the way they shoot it, it still looks fucking fake. Even like if there's something real behind them, it still looks fake with the way it's shot. Mark Webb, why the fuck did you hire this guy? He's not that great of a director. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 sucks ass. It's not that good of a movie. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man 2 has grown on me. I know I'm alone in that. It has its flaws, though. But there's aspects of that movie I do like. More than I did originally. The music, Andrew Garfield, and I think the love story is actually decent. Anyway, it has its flaws, though. This guy ain't some fantastic director, so I don't know why they hired him. So I blame him because he didn't bring anything to the table direction-wise, camera work-wise, look-wise. It looks as bland and shitty as Pinocchio and Aladdin, those other goddamn movies. And let's be honest, with these movies, these directors don't have a say. Disney does. But I blame the directors because you took the job. You could have said no, but you took the job because you made a deal with the devil, because you're hoping that if it's a success, hey, that guy made that movie that made a lot of money. Put him to work on this. They do these for paychecks and for clout, that if you have a movie that's a hit, then you may be able to get this and this and this project off the ground easier. Obviously, that's not going to be the case with this. But Mark Webb, you should have known better. You dug your grave, and now you're sleeping in it. You fucked up. Just like Disney, you fucked up. Captain America, Brave New World, awful film. This was an awful film. Yes, I think this film is worse than the Captain America one. Because as much as I hate that film, Anthony Mack, well, I mean, I don't really like much in that film either, but it's trying to be more action. Action's my favorite genre. This is just a lame, boring musical. And there are musicals I like. Rocky Horror Picture Show, the first half I don't mind. Little Shop of Horrors is great. Blues Brothers I like. Better Man that came out last year, I thought that was very underrated. I think that was a really good musical. Like, that knew how to do it right. And that starred a talking ape. But it was actually unique and interesting and funny, and the soundtrack was good. The songs were good. Some nice emotional moments about addiction and overcoming one's addiction. It was worth the shit, and of course, sadly, that film bombed. But, I mean, that's how it goes. Because, I mean, let's be honest. We keep saying we want original stuff, but then no one goes to see the original stuff. Now, granted, the original stuff has to be worth the shit too, but let's be fair. There's been movies that have come out that are good, and they still bomb too. Dread came out, bombed. Better Man, I thought that was a good movie, it bombed. So, fuck it. I'm just, fuck Hollywood in general, If I just lived with the old movies, I would shed no tears if no new movies came out. But anyway, I'm just cynical asshole. Anyway. But yeah, there are, I mean, musicals I've enjoyed. This ain't one of them. But yeah, the film looks just, for all the money they put into it, it still looks cheap. It looks cheap as shit. I don't know why. The CGI doesn't look good at all. I don't know why you put more money into stuff and the CGI looks worse. I don't get that. I find it funny that we see Snow White as a girl, and the older she got, the tanner she got. The older she got, the browner she got. I don't know how that works. I guess she tanned a lot in the sun or something happened. I don't know. It's like that Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li. Like she was a kid, she was white. When she grew up, she was Asian. It's like, in that movie, it's like the less white. In both movies, they're white girls. As they get older, they get less white. I don't know how that works, but I did. Must be a hell of a tan in this movie or something. I don't know. Okay, Rachel Zegler, I don't think is that good of an actress. She did nothing in this movie to impress me. Singing wise, I don't think her singing is bad. It's just the song sucked. I didn't give a shit about any of her songs. And I don't find her that interesting of an actress. Kind of in one ear, out the other, forgettable. Gal Gadot, Gal Gadot, Gal Gadunkadunk, Gal get the fuck out of my face. I think she was worse than Rachel Zegler. I do. I think she was even worse. Now Rachel Zegler, she buried herself. She don't have to live in it. With the stupid stuff she did before and stuff. You know, interviews and stuff. Then she dug her grave. She lives in it. Gal Gadot, I think, gave the worst performance in the movie. She cannot act for shit. Can we... Listen, if you liked her, that's fine. But I'm not going to subscribe to the narrative that she's a half-decent actress. Because I don't think she's half-decent. She wouldn't work in a fucking Snickers commercial. She sucked as Wonder Woman. We got to do our duty. She sucked in Wonder Woman 84. She sucked in that Kevin Costner film Criminal. And what was that? Red Notice, the one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. She has sucked in every goddamn movie I've seen her in. She wasn't even that great in Fast and Furious movies. I didn't give a shit when she died. I don't think anyone gave a shit when she died. But for some reason they're bringing her back. I don't remember there being a fucking demand for her to be brought back, but okay. I don't give a fuck about her. I think she was an awful fucking Wonder Woman. I think there were actresses in that movie that was part of her group, her tribe, that would have been better Wonder Woman than her. She's not natural in her dialect. She's not natural with her flow of the dialogue. Fuck, Brigitte Nielsen, I think, did better in Red Sonja. And I'm saying that with a straight face, because I mean it. I said it, because I mean it. Brigitte Nielsen and Red Sonja and Cobra did, in Rocky IV, was a better actress than Gal Gadot. But Brigitte Nielsen got the shit kicked out of her from critics, but people want to give her Gal Gadot the pass. No, Brigitte Nielsen, I'll take over fucking Gal Gadot. Even in fucking Red Sonja, which she's getting her feet wet, but she gave a better performance than Gal Gadot ever did in any fucking movie she was in. I stand by that, with both feet on the ground. Fuck Gal Gadot, she sucks. She was more of an offense to me than Rachel Zegler was. Rachel Zegler is just a fucking idiot. It goes through the typical Snow White is in the castle, the queen is doing evil stuff, you have the magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. The mirror keeps saying her until one day this guy Jonathan is caught stealing food. He gets arrested. Rachel Zegler feels bad for him, so she cuts him out of his ropes. Because of that act, the magic mirror then says that Snow White's the fairest of them all, so the queen's pissed. So she tells the huntsman, go kill the bitch in the woods. Maybe that's what the towel should have been. Kill the bitch in the woods. That probably would have sold more tickets, honestly. Killed the bitch in the woods. And get Elmer Fudd to kill the bitch in the woods. Get Elmer Fudd to narrate the fucking trailer for it. And they put these songs in, whether it be Waiting on a Wish and Will She Lead, or Will She Lead or Will She Be Led, those type of lyrics. This, what that song reminded me of, it wants to be Let It Go from Frozen. About this woman empowering herself, and I can stand on my own 2 feet. Am I going to be a follower or am I going to be a leader? And Let It Go is a much better song. Like that I can say, Frozen, much better movie. Let It Go, much, much better song. I actually don't mind that song. I think it worked for that movie. And I don't have kids, so I didn't have to hear that song 85 times and my brain turned to mush. I heard it a few times through, I think, on the radio, and then when I saw the film. I've only seen the film, I think, once, so I didn't see it so much that I got tired of it. So, like, that's a good song. This wasn't. Waiting on a Wish. And it feels like every 5 minutes someone has to stop and sing. And I don't know why they felt the need to make this into a musical other than they wanted Frozen. That type of stuff. Frozen had songs in it. Some of their animated films had songs, musicals in it. They figured put in the live action. And to be fair, a lot of them have songs. Aladdin has a lot of them have songs. Even the original Snow White has some songs, but it wasn't every fucking 5 minutes. But so, for some reason they thought, well, instead of just being a carbon copy, we'll add stuff, aka these new songs. Only idea, none of them were worth a shit. So you're just like, they just don't have that factor that make it memorable. So the girl goes to the woods and the huntsman is ready to kill her, and Rachel Zegler apparently has no sense of self-worth about herself and no sense of fight or being scared, because someone's coming at her with a knife like this and she's like, and okay, I did it. I'm a girl can't act scared. Why not? I would be scared if someone pointed a knife at me. Most people would. Very rare people would be like, you being scared does not mean weakness. Maces, you're not fucking Clint Eastwood, by the way, either. So it just, I don't know, it just came off as fake, just came off as ridiculous, came off as stupid. Unbelievable. It just makes characters like this just more stoic and less relatable. He tells her to go, she does, she falls down. The whole stuff in the woods, very, very forgettable. I know in the original, from the 1930s, with the way the trees looked and stuff, that felt a bit creepy and it felt a bit atmospheric. But here you just see a couple trees and they look cheap as hell, and then as soon as you're kind of looking at the awful effects, we're done. Like, you could have made that, but hell, this director doesn't know how to do that. Why? Look at his track record, his filmography. Why would he? It was just nothing. Like, you could have built upon that, developed that, add some things to it, but no. She falls, there's the animals, like in the original. Of course, all the animals are going to be CGI. Because, why would you have real animals there? She finds the house, she sleeps in a bed. You have the hi-ho, is off the fucking work we go. The ugliest fuck seven. The seven deadly sins. Because if you want to look at them, you feel like you've been sinned and you're going to go to hell because you're watching seven demons go up the fucking mountain to mine. Mine maybe for, I don't know, a better face. I mean, it makes fucking Freddy Krueger look like George Clooney. Or the Wicked Witch looked like Sandra Bullock. I mean, this is awful CGI. And again, some people say those some were added later. And then there's interviews from back then that account that actually know they were always going to be CGI in the first place. Again, I don't give a fuck what it was. All I see is that they're ugly as hell. They're fantastical creatures. So they're, I'm not surprised they went CGI. I'm not saying they should have. I'm saying I'm not surprised. But this looks awful. It looks ugly. It looks like shit. It looks like Dopey. It's like he's a kid, but he's not a kid. It's like he's trying to have a kid face, but it's like a kid face, but also like a grown ass man. It's like two people. Like, should it be one of the guys, but then it's also a little kid, but then it's like merge of both, so it's like neither, and it just looks awkward. And because there's 7 of them, they're going to barely have anything to do, because how can you incorporate 7 characters? And you say, well, they didn't do that in the original. Well, again, if you're remaking it, if you're adapting it, then that's something you could add. To add the characters, you could flesh the characters out, you could flourish the characters, you could add little bits here and there to make them a little bit more three-dimensional, and a little bit more little ticks and little maybe Bashful and Dopey have one kind of friendship, while Doc and Grumpy have one type of friendship, and like there's stuff you could add in there, but they don't, and they wouldn't, and I wasn't expecting to. But I'm just saying, if you want a good story, good adaptation, that could have been a thing. But they didn't. Instead, they mine, they get back, they find the girl. Dopey is scared and she calms Dopey down. They introduce themselves. Grumpy saying she shouldn't stay here. You have the whistle while you work stuff. Before that, they had a little bit of a food fight, and they laugh at Dopey, and Dopey goes outside. She comforts Dopey, teaches him how to whistle, and that's where we get the whistle while you work. Amidst all this, we go back to the Queen, who finds out Snow White is still alive, and she does a fucking song, and Gal Gadot cannot sing. If you farted in a snare drum, it would sound better than her singing. And I ain't farted on no snare drum. This shit's for the birds. Only the birds heard this, they would fucking explode. They heard this voice, their heart will go into palpitations and explode out of their birdie ass. And eventually she sees Jonathan, who has his own 7 people, which then, no wonder, if it wasn't the case that they had those 7 bandits and then they changed it to CGI, you can't blame people for thinking that way. Number one, they put that fucking photo out so early, and well, there's 7 of them. It was called Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. What the fuck do you think people would think and expect? think about it. Oh, well, wait, there's 7 people. They don't think these are the 7 dwarves. Because there's 7 of them. And one of them is small. And also, like, we have so many characters as is. Why are you adding 7 more fucking characters that, honestly, 6 of them, I can't remember a goddamn thing about them. The only one I can remember is the smallest one, and because he talks like 5 times about a crossbow. Or he has an arrow, but you don't have a bow and arrow. Oh yeah, but I have this. And oh, I know a crossbow, and at the very end, I'm a master of the crossbow. I I I quiz anybody on who the fuck the other 6 were. Name anything about those other 6. Anything. You can't, because there's nothing there. So why even have them in it? So again, that's why people think, well, they were originally going to be in it much more, and then they were pushed to the side, and then we don't want to fire them, so we'll keep them around because we don't look like we fire all these people. But so, whatever the fuck the deal was, the making of this movie and all that shenanigans would be more interesting than the movie I watched. And again, why put 7 more characters in there if that's the case? If that's the case. It makes it more convoluted in terms of, like, you have all the, and then now the 7 dwarves and the 7 wives and the 7 dies, and I went to St. Ives, and I know I stole that joke from Fabio from Die Hard with a Vengeance. How many wives are going to St. Ives? 1, it's just the one. The one guy. 0001. I did say Simon Says. But the 7 and the 7, they're singing and dancing with Snow White and Jonathan. And who gives a fuck about Jonathan? Jonathan is milk toast. He's white bread. White bread motherfucker. No one gives a shit. And then the queen becomes the witch and gives her the poison. She eats the poison apple, and the dwarves find her. And then the guy kisses her. And then she's out of it. And then, hell, even the original movie ended with some kind of chase that was as exciting as it could be in the 1930s, where the 7 dwarves come home and they chase her. And granted, they can't have the dwarves kill her because it's a Disney movie. You know, kids film it. They don't even have that. The dwarves do jack shit. They are so fucking pointless in this. At least them chasing the queen led her to get to the spot where the lightning hit and then she went to her death. No, all that happens here is Snow White comes in to town. She said, well, first she gets Snow White to try to kill her so that she's not so nice and kind and fair, and Snow White's, I'm not going to do it. Okay, then you guys, you kill her in front of everybody. And then she's like, I know you. You used to bake bread, and I know you. You're a farmer, and you were married to that bitch, and I know you. You're Scooter McGavin, and I know you. You're Pistol Pete, and I know you. You're Pigeon Pete, and I know you. You sucked his dick, and I know you. Because you had a screw loose up your ass. And he was a screwdriver. And the screwdriver's his dick. Everyone, like, that's all she does. Just talk to this person, talk to this person. Toss to this person, toss to this person. So then they decide not to do it. The queen's like, fuck you. And that one bandit I talked about with the crossbow hits the thing and says, I'm king of the crossbow. What the fuck he said. And then Snow White just walks after her. The queen ends herself by, she smashes the mirror, and then the mirror fucks her day up. That's all that happened, folks. Then they sing and dance and hip hip hooray, hi ho. I got hoes. Where them hoes? Do they wear pantyhose? are in the throes of passion until they're not in traction anymore with them hoes. Need some hoes. Need some hoes in this movie. Does Wayne Rachel is it? No, I don't call Zegler and Godot hoes. I call them shits for the birds. And that's the thing, like, you watch the original Snow White, technically a whole lot doesn't happen. And that's kind of one of my critiques. Like, again, if you watch it, not much happens in the movie. But felt like it was a shorter movie. So, okay, not a lot happens, but it's not overlong. Like, let me look. What's the running time of the original Snow White? Just want to double check. 1 hour and 23 minutes, give or take. So, not that long of a movie. This, though, was 1 hour and 40-some, give or take. It's at least 20-some minutes longer, at least. Because of these stupid fucking songs that they added that weren't worth the shit. Or stuff with the bandits that were completely fucking pointless. They really were pointless. Like, there was no reason. They should just cut them out of the movie entirely. Because guess what? That does happen. People do get cut out. Happens plenty of times. Or you see them in one scene, then you never see them again. Like Judge Reinhold in Gremlins. This whole subplot where he's stuck in a vault, and they cut all that out. Or hell, The Thin Red Line. Adrian Brody was the star of that movie, and then when you watch the film, it was cut so back, I don't think he had any lines in the movie. They completely cut, Mickey Rourke out, and I think someone did like a whole I think Billy Bob Thornton or someone did a whole narration of the film. That was all cut out. My point is that happens all the time. You do it to serve your film. But this wasn't meant to serve anything other than the unholy gods of the dollar bill, which is ironic because they ain't making that bad. They just lost a shitload of money. And I know why they made the movie in the first place, because the Lion King made $1 billion. Aladdin made a lot of money. Those movies make a lot of money. So what's another property we have? Snow White. But I mean, bad word of mouth, all the upheaval before, the trailers didn't look good, the marketing was a bust, and there's no like hype hoopla, and yay, it was just kind of a fart in the wind. Will Disney learn? I don't know. Because despite what people want to say, as much as I hate Disney, they are still, you could argue, the #1 film company still. I mean, until someone surpasses them and shit really changes, they'll keep doing it because all they have to get is the roll of the dice and not get snake eyes. Deadpool and Wolverine, for example, made a lot of money. They just need some of those banners to box office wise. Whether you like or dislike the film, that's another thing. But those box office, that's all they need to keep going. But yeah, I think sooner or later, the bleeding is going to be a bit too much. Captain America and Snow White has made Disney bleed quite a bit. But if they're still counting on their amusement park stuff, and if that's still raking in the dollars, okay. But their film division, yeah, I think that someone's got to be looking at some changes, man. You would think, but you wish in one hand, you shit in the other. You see what fills up first. So I mean, in summary, 2 actors, main actresses, gave poor performances. I think Gal Gadot gave the worst performance. She was not intimidating. She was as evil as a fucking kitten. I didn't buy her one bit of being scary or intimidating. Unless she wants to do porn, she just get out of the fucking film business. Show your titties or show yourself out the door. Rachel Zegler, I think she'll get worked again? Yes, because there's going to be some people that feel bad for her. There's going to be some people that will not pay attention to X, Y, and Z and be like, oh, you were the scapegoat, so well, I'll make you feel better. Come do our movie. I guarantee there will be, because that's always going to be the case. There's been a lot of people that have failed upward. But she didn't impress me at all. Quite the opposite. The guy who played Jonathan didn't give a shit. The Seven Dwarves, they were useless in this movie. They were completely pointless in this film. They did absolutely nothing at the end. Which makes you wonder, were there reshoots? Was there additional photography? Was the ending different in some ways? I don't know the details. I wasn't there. One person says one person says the other. I don't know. The new songs were crap. The old songs, I just listened to the songs the way they were sung in the original film. The computer animation, the CGI looked terrible. It did not look good at all. Again, I don't understand when you put more money and time into something and it looks worse. I don't get that. It's supposed to have the opposite effect, I thought. The stuff they added wasn't worth a shit. The ending was fairly anticlimactic. There's a lot of excitement. It's boring as shit. It's bland as fuck to look at. There's no charm to it. And it's a waste of fucking space and a waste of fucking time. And again, by the end of this, in a way, it's like Ghostbusters 2016, although that film made me more mad. Like, that's a film that made me more angry. Ghostbusters 2016. The reason I compare the two is, again, this deserves it, sure. That movie definitely deserved it. But with all the hoopla, again, within a year, no one's going to remember that film exists. Just like no one remembers Ghostbusters 2016 existed, unless you're Paul Feig. And no one's going to remember this film exists. It's going to go, disappear from the ether of our minds. Much like the Aladdin remake and the Pinocchio remake, among other stuff. And go, oh yeah, that was a thing. So, there you go. But again, it's... Sometimes these film companies, you sit there and go, if you would listen to people, you would save so much money. I would love to... So much better use that money could have been put into. So many different things. Whether movie projects or scripts or stuff that actually means shit in the real world. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Big surprise. This is my shocked face. Again, that's why I can't be like streaming and stuff, because this is what I expected. It's par for the course. Yeah. I got nothing else. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.